Hello, welcome back, Year 7. So today you'll be having your third lesson on the Silk Roads. And to start us off, I want you to write the numbers 1, 2, and 3 in margins of your books. And just to complete these three sentences. So, what is the paper and coin money that a country uses to conduct business? Number 2, what is a person who is an authority in the past and who studies it? And number 3, just finish this phrase, this well-known phrase. To understand the world of today and tomorrow, you need to understand the world of blank. I've given you the first word there just to help you out. And so as usual, pause the video, complete the sentences, and then resume when you're ready. All right, here are your answers. So the first one was currency. Currency is the paper and coin money that a country uses to conduct business. Second one, of course, is an historian, is a person who's an authority on the past and who studies it. And thirdly, to understand the world of today and tomorrow, you need to understand the world of yesterday. And here is our title for today's lesson. Should the Silk Roads, which we've been looking at over the last two lessons, be renamed the slave roads? So a bit of a controversy there. We're going to investigate some sources. We're going to learn a bit about what exactly was conducted along the Silk Roads and try to find out if it should be renamed. I think we called it the Silk Roads because of the volume of silk that was transported along these roads. But were there more slaves, and was that a bigger business for the merchants that traveled up and down these roads? So get your title down and underline it, and then get the date for today in the corner of your books. Okay, so as I said, we're looking at slavery, and some of you may have heard the phrase, some of you might be very familiar with it, but I want you to write down the definition for enslavement in your books. It is the act of making slaves of your captives. It's when you capture somebody and you hold them, you keep them as not essentially hostage. That's what we mean by slavery. They cannot leave your sort of territory or your area without your permission, and really they work for you in one form or another. So that's what we mean by slavery. Some characteristics of slavery is forcing people into acts against their will, often be traded in return for goods or payment. Slaves receive no payment for their labor. That's the real defining characteristics of a slave, and that's what makes them different to a servant, is they receive no payment. And they have no human rights. Okay, so some examples we have here: the transatlantic slave trade of the 16th to the 19th century, the Viking slave trade, very big slave trade that went on in the 6th to the 11th century. Was also slightly smaller, but also prominent Saxon slave trade. So these are things you may have come across. We've already encountered the Vikings and the Saxons, yeah, these are non-examples of slaves, just so you don't fall into some misconceptions. Okay, so today what we're going to do is we're going to delve into the work of another historian. So last week we looked at the work of Peter Frankopan. Today we're going to look at an extract from Susan Whitfield's Silk, Slaves and Stupas, the Material Culture of the Silk Road. Now you can find this extract if you go into the Teams page. It's called Guided Reading, Whitfield on Slaves, and I'll bring it up. Here we are. I'm just going to explain what you should do with this. Of course, one option is to print this out and then to write a title for each paragraph on this side, and then to summarize each paragraph in 2 or 3 bullet points on the right-hand side. If you don't have access to a printer, what you can do is you can, in your books, write a title for each paragraph and then the summary bullet points beneath it, right? And so what I want you to do, read through all of this, title for each paragraph, title here, title here, title here, so forth, and a summary here, right to the end. And as you can see here, provided you with a glossary, just because there are quite a few tricky terms there that you might not be familiar with. Okay. Once you've done that, we're going to build up even more evidence. We're going to go back to Peter Frankopan and we're going to find out what his book tells us about slavery on the Silk Roads. Now, his extract focuses on Viking slavery, and it's really, really interesting. Take your time over this. Don't rush it. It's, there'll be lots of new concepts or issues. And of course, because of the sensitive nature of the topic, some things in there, are, quite sensitive. So just, be mature in the way that you read it. Just remember this happened to real people a long time ago. And it's important for us to learn about how, people's lives went in those days. Have a read through of it and do the exact same thing. Title and then a summary paragraph in each bullet point. Once you've done all of that, we're going to go back to the lesson question and we're going to have a stab at answering that question. So should the Silk Roads be renamed the Slave Roads? You should now have lots and lots of ideas, through your summaries, through your titles. You can use these sentence starters to have a go at constructing an argument. So we're going to agree with the statement, yeah? And then you're going to give examples, and then you're going to disagree with the statement and give a contrasting point, and then finally you're going to end the paragraph with what you yourself actually believe based on your readings of both Whitfield and Frankopan. Okay, so that should be about 3/4 of a page, maybe even half a page if you've collected lots of really good evidence. Good luck, and if you have any questions, please post your questions under the lesson post for the day. Good luck. Bye bye.